Howdy, my name is Tara and hope you're having a terrific day, and if you are not, this video will definitely make your day just a little bit better. This video is going to be the start of the optimal character building guide series. As I progress within Genshin Impact and discover the most optimal builds through actual testing, I will be adding additional character showcases to the series. The end goal will be aimed at aiding others in avoiding typical gearing pitfalls, alongside making some of your favorites shine. So now let us talk about one of my favorites and most overlooked characters, Noelle. Noelle is a Geo Claymore character built to turn defense into your best offense. She is a hybrid character, capable of dishing out damage, providing tankiness, and healing all at the same time. Her elemental skill Breastplate will deal Geo damage and provide shielding, and while her shield is active, she will be granted access to massive amounts of healing, all scaling from defense. Her elemental burst, Sweeping Time, takes things a step further by converting a significant portion of her defense into additional attack. To make matters even more interesting, her elemental burst will also make all of her attacks have longer range and deal geo damage. Noelle's kit creates a conundrum for many, as to see her shine requires a significant amount of investment in the most optimal build. So first, let's talk about some recommended weapons for Noelle. Favonius Greatsword is the weapon I have personally tested the most on Noelle, and I believe this is the best in-slot weapon for her. You will forgo a defensive secondary stat for massive energy generation. This 4-star weapon has an energy recharge secondary stat and an effect which creates a 6 energy restoring elemental particle occurring up to once every 6 seconds when a critical hit is performed. I've chosen this weapon because Noelle's kit locks all of her damage and healing potential behind her elemental burst. So without her elemental burst being active, she'll be completely ineffective at her role of being a hybrid carry. When looking at her level 1 constellation, she will be given 100% healing activation when both Sweeping Time and Breastplate are active. On her level 6 constellation, she will be given an additional 50% defense as attack. This means massive healing and damage only when your elemental burst is active, which is where Favonius Greatsword comes in. Unfortunately, the Favonius Greatsword can only be gotten through the gacha, but there is an alternative building option. The second weapon that I would recommend for Noelle is White Blind, and this is probably the most commonly talked about weapon in relation to Noelle. White Blind is a craftable 4-star claimer possessing a defense secondary stat and an effect which on hit increases base attack and defense by up to 12%, stacking 4 times. I actually have both White Blind and Favonius Greatsword at the same level, and when testing both within the Spiral Abyss, I was actually capable of having slightly faster clear times with the Favonius Greatsword over White Blind, even though White Blind was displaying higher damage numbers. Next up, we're going to be talking about the recommended artifact sets that you should be aiming for when building Noelle. The artifact set that I currently have on my Noelle is the 2-piece Archaic Petra and the 2-piece Martial Artist set together. This set will provide you with the most consistent damage output out of all of the sets that I'm about to mention. The 2-piece Archaic Petra will provide 15% geo damage bonus, and the 2-piece Martial Artist will provide 15% additional damage when normal and charge attacking. As the game progresses, focusing on sets which provide damage bonuses rather than strict base percentage stat increases will net much higher damage output. For Noelle specifically, her second constellation will decrease stamina consumption of charge attacks by 20%, and increase her charge attack damage by 15%. And by having 2-piece Archaic Petra and Martial Artist sets, when her elemental burst Sweeping Time is activated, you get that geo damage and increased range, and she will basically become kind of like a Beyblade, and you can just spin to win with her charge attack. The second recommended artifact set is that known as Retracing Belide, and Retracing Belide will increase the effectiveness of shields by 35% and provide a 40% increase to normal and charge attack damage whenever you're protected by a shield. This will net more damage and higher tankiness when your shield was activated than the option that I mentioned previously. However, this also means less consistent uptime of that damage increase if your shield does happen to fall. Lastly, the Archaic Petra set is specifically recommended only for co-op play rather than for solo play. This set will provide a 15% geo damage bonus, and shield crystals created through your geo elemental reactions will provide party members with a 35% elemental damage bonus to the type of element created created by that crystal for 10 seconds. I do want to mention that the tooltip in-game for this set specifically is incorrect, and the set will provide elemental damage bonus and not elemental damage resistance. Crystal creation is plentiful for Noelle, and thus creating shielding and a 35% elemental damage bonus for allies to use is kind of massive in cooperative play. Now, when it comes to your artifact slots, so this is where it's going to get a little bit more interesting compared to other characters that you might be building. For your sands and circlet artifact slots, this is where you're going to want defense main stats. Early on in the game, attack is generally preferred over defense, but as scaling starts to kick in, Noelle will benefit much more from defense over attack. Every aspect of her kit utilizes defense to some degree, so this is the obvious main stat option when it comes to her sand and circlet. We're going to actually be deviating from defense main stat when it comes to her goblet and instead go for geo damage bonus. This is the only artifact slot capable of having an elemental damage bonus, and it is pivotal to utilize that option. In essence, this kind of means trading tankiness for much more damage, but as Noelle is already quite tanky and has massive healing through the other defense artifact slots, choosing instead to focus on geo damage, in my opinion, is the way to go. I hope you now realize the hybrid carry potential within Noelle. She is a character that I will continue to put my resources into, as I truly believe she has a place within certain team compositions. I'm really looking forward to one day obtaining her Constellation 6, as I only have her to Constellation 3 at this time. Please remember that this is only my first optimal character building guide in this series, so please be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments future character builds that you would like to see. You can also head over to my Discord for additional game help, or head over to my Twitch. Links found in the description. Bye-bye now!